Thanks for listening to Real Deal Sports Talk with me, KP, your host. So I'm just going to jump into it today. It's one of my favorite times of year. I have many favorite times of year with this sport. The draft happened. Free agency, first and second round have happened. And now this week, after the rookies have gotten together and done their thing, we now have OTAs, everybody. We got the guys finally getting out on the field, getting back together, finally getting it going. A lot of news coming out, a lot of oohs and ahs. I'm not real big on OTAs. I mean, it's one of my favorite times of year because it means we're closer, you know. It means we're 105 days to the regular season opening. It means we're 74 days until the Hall of Fame game. It means we have 53 days until training camp opens. So for those reasons, it becomes one of my favorite times of year because now we're closer. It's happening. People are starting to get back into the swing of the game. The guys are getting together, talking about their vacations, starting to get their playbooks. What's new? Who's new? What position changes are going to happen? Do we have new coaches? All the camaraderie is getting going. And then they'll take a break. They'll let them finish out their summer, spend some more time with their families, have a little time off, get used to the new playbook they're going to take home with them. And then they'll come back in July, and they'll be ready for training camp. Can't wait. One story that did catch my eye about these rookies coming in. And I have to say, hey, it's a Denver Broncos rookie. I'm sure you guys have heard the story. Running back Devontae Booker. He says he's not here to carry pads. He's here to take jobs. You got to respect the bravado, right? He's saying, I'm going to compete. I'm not just going to come in here and be some rookie and I'm not going to do nothing. I'm coming in to play. Don't think I'm just going to sit here and be third string and let you get your reps and I'm not going to do nothing about it. But at the same time, Rook, it's a little too early to be running your mouth about not carrying them pads. You're going to find players outside of your position group. You're going to find linemen. You're going to find defensive players who are going to go, hey, Rook, you're not carrying pads? Here you go. There's a good chance Mr. Booker looks like a helmet pad Christmas tree that first day of training camp. Again, respect the bravado and the confidence. He wouldn't have gotten to where he is without it. But didn't need to be said, Rook. Didn't need to be said. Another story that caught my eye coming out of Oakland. I'm sure some of you Bronco fans have heard it or read about it. Derek Carr, Oakland Raiders quarterback, has come out and said, hey, Khalil Mack, 30 sacks this year. I can see it happening. 30 sacks for Khalil Mack. Okay, is he playing, sorry Broncos fans, Schofield every game? Is that how he's going to do it? Because you take away his game against Denver where he got 5 sacks, bull rushing people, no moves, no nothing, just bull rushing people who couldn't block. He has 10 on the season. He had another 3-sack game. I believe it was against Cleveland, but Cleveland actually had some pretty good players going on. But 30? Think of some of the players we've had rushing the passer in this league. How many of them got to 20? 4 or 5 maybe? Ever? Well, at least since they started keeping track of sacks as a statistic. I don't know about 30. I could see him probably doing 15 again. I could see that out of him. He'll probably be more consistent this year and not have such a streaky performance where he gets 5 in a game. Could he do that again? Sure. You go up against a guy who's less talented than you and you're that good of a pass rusher, you're going to be able to make him hurt. You want to make him hurt. You're supposed to shine in those situations. His own head coach last year, when interviewed here on Denver radio, talked about how he's still, in his head coach's mind, behind Von Miller as a player. He's more physical, he said, but behind him overall as a player. Now Vaughn's got to come out and do it again. Vaughn can't, in my opinion, just be this guy who shows up in the playoffs, did great in the Super Bowl, and has these average, slightly above average regular seasons. I need to see Vaughn put up 15 sacks this year. I was honestly surprised he didn't put up 15 or more sacks last year. I predicted that he would probably have 20 in that defense. Now maybe this year, year two, we'll see. It would be great for that defense if they could get a 15-sack performance out of one of their rush ends. Super Bowl bound. Denver Broncos, will they go to the Super Bowl in Houston this year? Minnesota the year after that. Atlanta the year after that. Miami the year after that. Or Los Angeles the year after that. The NFL has announced those are the next 5 cities that will be hosting Super Bowls. Personally, I would love to see my Detroit Lions face the Denver Broncos in all 5. Now, I know that's not going to happen. Silly to say. Most people would say, ha, yeah, right, Detroit in the Super Bowl. Not going to get into it. Not going to do it. However, you look at the cities that are coming up. The most intriguing one to me is the Los Angeles one. I can't wait to see this facility they're going to build, this stadium. The renderings and the drawings, they just look like the Beijing Olympics, okay? I don't know if you guys watched the Olympics, but when the Olympics were in Beijing a few years ago, the structures and the buildings they made were very artsy. They were very appealing to the eye. It wasn't just another stadium in another parking lot. It was something that you could look at and be like, wow, how did they do that? How did they build that? And that's what this LA complex and stadium has the feel for me, with the ponds and the hotels and the shops and the big swooping arch over the top of the stadium. It looks like it's going to be amazing. Not to take away from Minnesota's stadium or the new stadium that's being built in Atlanta, because that's how they got their Super Bowls as well. But that LA stadium here in the next 5 years looks like at the Super Bowl could be something pretty special. All right, here's the big thing. Everybody's hating, everybody's throwing shade, everybody's cheering. Yay. Tom Brady lost his appeal. Deflategate. Okay, I haven't really said much about this on the radio. I've had lots of conversations with my friends and different people about this, different radio people, colleagues of mine. And I have to say, I really do not care if the balls were underinflated. I don't care if they were deflated. I don't care if they were flat. Okay? You playing defense, it's your job to stop them no matter what they're playing with. They could be playing with a rolled up hoodie like we used to do back in the day. You stop them. You don't find a reason later to complain and be like, oh, well, this is why they won. Win. You gave up 45 points in that game. That's why you lost. Now, the same season, everybody got all on the New England Patriots, okay? They deflated their balls. They're cheaters. They're horrible. And on a previous show, I talked about, go check the biggest fines in NFL history. 4 of them, of the top 5, are actually for the Denver Broncos. Now, the same season that everybody decided to cement the fact that the New England Patriots and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were the devil of football, that same season, we had a team, I believe it was the Vikings, who said, hey, our balls, we put them in the dryer before the game. Technically, under the rules, that is also tampering with the balls. Did they get in trouble? It was either the Vikings or the Saints. I honestly can't remember. One of those teams talked about they put their balls in the dryer. Same season, Aaron Rodgers talked about how he overinflates. He likes his balls to be harder. So he puts more air than is what allowed into him. Nobody made a stink about that. Now I get it. They've had other things. They had the video thing. They had this. They've had that. They've been speculated to do this. Guys, again, I defy you to go to your favorite team, whoever it is, and find them not trying to take some rule and twist it, bend it, or find a loophole in it to give them a competitive advantage. You can't hate because the New England Patriots are reading the rule book and trying to find ways to win. Now, is it changing the game? Do people not like it? Do people not like that they came up with a formation that they didn't understand and they got tricked on and that shouldn't have been allowed? Where? Stop them. You play defense. So do I think Tom Brady's being selfish for getting a second appeal? No, I don't. I don't think he should have been suspended for his role in it. Why? Because they didn't like that he wouldn't give them his cell phone or that he destroyed it before they could talk to him about it? Okay, let's say 100% that there was evidence and text messages on there that said, "Hi, it's Tom. Take air out of the balls before the game today. It would make it easier for me to throw the ball." So what? So what? Get over it. Move on. Cheer for your team instead of finding reasons to hate. Appreciate the game. Appreciate that they're trying to do what they can and use their knowledge of the game to make it better or to get a competitive advantage in some way. Sure, it's been put out there. It's been put out there in reports in the past about different coaches in the league back in the 90s would do locker room sweeps as they would go to different towns and different cities in the NFL. This isn't the first time it's happened. This isn't the first time a team videotaped a practice. Now, they might have get caught. They might get a whole bunch of media because they're the Patriots and they were so successful for years. They've been winning for years. So everything they do is magnified. It's like the Cowboys. They're America's team. They're the most hated team. It's media hype, everybody. They're playing you. They want you. They need you to be out there and acting like this and having these opinions, to drive their shows, to give me something to talk about. Let's be real. All the shows out there, they need you. We need you to have these opinions so that we can come on air and be like, here, let's break down the facts. Here's the other side of the story. Here's a different way to look at it. So, you know what? I hope he gets to play the whole season. I hope the Patriots have a good season. I hope they lose to the Broncos again in the AFC Championship game or the playoffs somewhere. But let's just move on from it. Can we just drop this story, please? I think I heard the other day we're going on 490-something days of this nonsense. Let's just be done with it, okay? Just be done. Oh, man. So, we talked about the Rockies the other day, right? I talked about expectations again. I talked about what I would love to see them do on this road trip and how people thought 4 out of 5 games. Well, here we are. We're 7 games into the road trip. Rockies are 2-5 on the road trip. Tough one. A lot of people are saying they could have won that one in Pittsburgh had it not been called for the rain and postponed to the next day. They ended up losing the next day. Who knows how that game would have gone? Who knows? The fact of the matter is, when they did finish it, they lost. They're 2-5 on this road trip. They got 2 more against a very good Boston Red Sox team. And it's going to be tough. De La Rosa went out. And I'm sorry, I don't know what they're going to do with the guy. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's father time, like some people are saying. They're going to have to move on. It's not working for them right now. They're not getting what they need out of him. The rest of their pitchers, I'm going to go back to it. I think they're doing an excellent job. I think a few more things come around, a few more bats get hot. If Cargo can, he's still batting 280 something because he started off well, but he's in a slump right now. We need him to come back and get hot again. He had a triple the other night. There's little signs here and there. So we'll see about that. It was not a positive road trip for him, though.